Good morning and welcome to the fourth episode of Cowboy Coffee with Coaches, a podcast created to promote the student athletes of our community, focusing on the high school varsity sports teams, their coaches, and mentors. I'm Bobby Gutierrez, and I'm joined today in this wonderful studio at the Rio Blanco Herald-Times by our studio technician, Rich Klinsman, owner-operator of Step Beyond Media, and fellow host Tiffany Jahoric, owner-operator of Crystal Meadow Farms. Welcome to both of you. We also have in the studio with us today Meeker Band Director Randy Adams, who we will interview in our second segment. Again, welcome to everyone. Thank you, everyone who's been listening to our podcast. We greatly appreciate it, and we hope to improve with each episode. We've recorded our first 3 episodes. We are recording this one as well. We'll upload it later today to the Rio Blanco Herald-Times Facebook page and then share it from there. We hope to go live here soon. In our first 2 episodes, we interviewed Meeker High School's activity director, Clark Kindler, and girls softball coach, Kendall Bergman. Then we interviewed cross-country coach Marty Casey and volleyball coach Greg Cravens in our second episode. Last week, in our third episode, we interviewed Meeker assistant golf coach Kyle Hooks and head coach Shane Phelan, football coach Shane Phelan. I'll turn it over to Tiffany now, who will give us highlights from last week's volleyball, football, and girls softball teams. And go ahead and take it away.
Thanks, Bobby. So softball was supposed to have 2 games last week, Tuesday in Basalt and then Thursday in Rifle. The Basalt game got canceled, and now they're playing a doubleheader against Basalt on October 5th. And the Rifle game was a tough loss for the team. You know, Rifle is actually a 4A team. We play 3A softball, and Rifle's a 4A team, and they're a tough team. They're ranked in the state, and the girls did lose 10-0. The pitcher from the Rifle team was super tough. We didn't get our bats going like the team really wanted to, but Wagner Brown and Kasten Dembowski, I'm pretty sure I say that name wrong every time. Kasten Dembowski had some good hits through the game. Pitching for the Cowboys that day was Haley Knowles and Bree Garcia. In volleyball, we had 2 games through the weekend, remain undefeated again. We did lose the first set to Cedar Edge. It was a tough one. We couldn't get our serves going, and our passing wasn't going quite how Coach wanted it to be. Cravens called it a slow start for sure. The Bruins couldn't take the next 3 sets, though, and Meeker did come out on top 3-1 against them. We then hosted our Meeker, or our Rio Blanco County rivals, Rangeley, on Saturday. We took them in 3 sets. It was a good game. We improved in the serving the day before, and Tatum Kennedy had 9 aces that day. On the weekend, Emma Luce had 46 kills and 48 digs. She's actually sitting at number 1 in the state with 203 total kills on the year. And the next one below her, it has 177. Aspen Merrifield had 34 digs. Aspen and Savvy both were hitting really well over the weekend. And then Sarah Kraft, of course, took the majority of the serves through then. In football, it was a nice Friday evening up in Cedar Edge. We got to watch volleyball and then go straight to football. It was kind of like the olden days when everything was all there together. The final score was 40-6, but we actually hit 40-0 with 7 minutes left in the third. The Lions really picked it up this week. They came out strong. They came out tough and with a lot of energy. It was a huge improvement, too, from the first week. We had 245 yards on the ground and 146 98 through the air. Who was actually on the ground, it was led by Kelton Turner. Scoring this week was Trendon Powell with his first score of the year, a 23-yard reception. Liam Deming also got a nice catch in the air again and scored 2. Liam also would have had 2 touchdowns. He had a huge interception and ran it back. Coach wasn't sure how far he ran it back last because I don't know, something about the spot of the foul. I didn't really understand what Shane was telling me, but something about that. But it was a long ways. Unfortunately, a Cowboy penalty called that score back and the half ended. Kelton Turner actually had 3 rushing touchdowns. Ryan Sullivan ran his first one in of the year. He's one of our sophomore quarterbacks. And then John Hampton Hightower had 4 PATs.
Who was throwing the touchdown passes?
Connor Blunt, I believe, threw. I can't tell because I saw that both Liam Deming, Connor Blunt, and Ryan Sullivan all had some passing from the game. So without me writing it down when I was out there, I don't know. So defensively, Elijah LeBlanc led in tackles with 8 tackles this week. Zach Gustafson had 6. Zach Simonson and Connor Blunt each had 5. And, of course, the JV got a ton of playing time. So I think that's it.
Well, great. The cross-country teams, they were idle this last week. The golf team is currently in Cortez at the regional tournament, the state qualifying regional tournament. I did receive a text from Coach Willie Theus, who is with the team down there. He said he was driving and texted me last night. Said that last week they took the whole team to Craig, and then they had a practice round after a great practice round in Rangeley, where golf course manager Chris Hale allowed them to work on the short game, and then they also did their regional playoff there. Coach said that in Craig, Peter Hanks continues to be the best golfer on the team. He shot an 80. Will Swartz was at 99. Dayton Ridgeway 110. Sam Hightower shot a 116, and Chakwa Brink was at 130. The JV scores were Drew Drake at 133, Thomas Curry at 135, Alex Garcia at 146, and Nathan Miller at 160. They also played in Steamboat at Haymaker last Tuesday, and Peter was the top the top golfer for the team again. He shot an 82. Today playing representing the Cowboys and the varsity team in the regional tournament will be Peter Hanks, Will Swartz, Sam Hightower, and Drew Drake. They'll do a practice round today on the course and then play the tournament tomorrow. No one qualified last year. Peter was a couple shots out, according to Coach Zias, from qualifying last year. Hopefully he gets to go to state this year. So good luck to him and the rest of the team as they play in the regional tournament today.
Yep, and I think we should also, I forgot to kind of mention that. We haven't got anything from the junior high. We welcome that for sure. But the Meeker Mustangs, both teams won this weekend too.
Oh, good for them.
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Coach Zias had also put in here that Phil Arnold was the last state qualifier a couple of years ago, and I saw something on Facebook where he's playing college golf and
at NJC in Sterling, and he is one of their varsity players. So congratulations, Phil.
Yeah, good for him, and great that come from our little program.
Right.
So cool deal. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we will visit with Meeker Band Director Randy Adams. Hello and welcome back. We're joined with Meeker Band Director Randy Adams. He comes to us via Indiana. Randy moved out here last year with his wife Deanne. I will let him tell us a little bit about his background, where he grew up, and how he got to Meeker, Colorado. Thanks and welcome, Randy.
Thank you, Bobby. I guess I first have to say that Meeker is a wonderful community. We moved here about a year ago, mid-summer, last summer, and it's been nothing but a joy. The community, the school, everything. The coffee. You like that one, Bobby?
Yes, good one.
Let's see. I grew up in Maryland, in Columbia, Maryland, and I was a band kid, choir kid, music kid. Did musicals, plays, jazz bands, anything I could get my hands on. I went to college in Baltimore City at a school called Peabody. It's part of Johns Hopkins University. It's a conservatory, so I had the opportunity to do my schooling totally around musicians. I think I only had to take one English course and one math course, and everything else is just it was just strictly music. After that, I waited on tables and did catering for Baltimore parties and stuff like that, and just flaking around a little bit, I guess. And then I decided to get to Indiana State University, where I got my master's there in wind band conducting. I was also lucky enough to meet my wife, my future wife, Deanne. We met at the first day of band camp. Yeah, if that's not okay. So we set out to Arizona. I spent a couple years teaching in Arizona. Deanne has always been my partner in teaching, especially marching band. She has always been my guard director. So we've worked marching bands, especially together, side by side. The guard is an interesting part of band. It's the flags and the rifles and such. And they have their own competitions, and so yeah, we've been working schools together for I think it's 15 years now, about 15 years in schools. I've taught elementary school. I've taught college along the way. So I've had good opportunity to be in almost any environment teaching music, and I'll tell you, Meeker high school band, middle school band, and choir is the best so far. This is a great lifestyle.
Well, great, and we appreciate that and your background and what you bring to our kids. And maybe tell us a little bit. You are in the middle school and the high school. Tell us how many members you have in each school, and kind of what it is you're working on.
Well, we're still in the building stage in the high school. We're at about the same numbers as we have been in the past couple of years. It's low, but of course I'm an optimistic person, and so
Good.
I'm hoping that the kids that I'm teaching right now in the middle school will want to come up and remake the band program. The choir is kind of the same. It has to go through a rebuilding stage. Anytime a new band director comes in or a new choir director comes in, there's always lots of adjustment that has to take place. In 8th grade and 7th grade, we have about 17, 20 kids in each one of those grades, so about half the class in those grades. And in 6th grade, Mr. Hanks did us a huge favor, and I think did the community a huge favor, in giving every kid an opportunity to be part of the band in 6th grade.
Good.
So we have all of our 6th graders participating in band this year.
Oh, there you go. Good deal. And last year was your first year, and you had to deal with COVID. That's kind of makes things a little tougher in the rebuilding, but maybe kind of how you dealt with that and what you have going this year.
Well, pretty much I followed the policies of our district. Mr. Selle and Mr. Hanks and Mrs. Chin have all been really professional in their approach to this horrible pandemic. I can't imagine being in their place. I just try to follow their lead and try to be as safe as possible, especially around when you're singing and when you're playing on instruments and we're breathing the same air together.
Yes. Coming up for homecoming, do you have any special plans for homecoming or when your first concert is?
Yes, we do. We have very special plans for homecoming. Our drumline was initiated last summer, and this summer, and we participated in our range call parade.
Yes, we heard that. They sounded great.
And we had a great time. They had lots of success, and so we're building off of that on the homecoming parade. We're going to bring the drumline back to the parade, and then we're going to add on by assembling a small parade guard, and that's what my wife was working on. We had our first rehearsal on Friday, and so I worked with the drum line, and she worked with the guard, the flag, flags, and. And so hopefully we'll be able to march both drumline and guard. So we're adding layer to layer as we move forward.
Well, good.
The high school kids, the middle school kids that are in band, will be working diligently over the next couple of weeks on pep band tunes, so that we can fill the stands with some happy music, some power to the sound out of the stadium.
It really adds to the game for sure.
And so we're really excited about presenting pretty much our first pep band in probably over a year, since Mrs. Williams has moved on. And so 7th through 12th graders are going to be participating in that band. The high school choir is going to be singing the national anthem for the homecoming game. So trying to get everybody involved and participating in homecoming activities.
Well, good, wonderful, and thanks for what you do and what you're again bringing to our community and our kids. We appreciate that. One thing also, last year we have a coffee fundraiser with Wendell's White River Roasters, and you were our first participant in that, and maybe if you could give us a little comment on how that went for you, and if you might be interested in doing it again.
Well, that was very exciting. That was right out of the box. As soon as Wendell's White River Roasters was spitting out coffee, we wanted in, and so the band program, especially the 6th graders and 7th graders, really hit the streets, and we made really great money. It was a very positive fundraiser. I've used butter braids in the past, and we've sold fruit in the past in my past programs, and this worked out just as well or better. We didn't have to freeze anything.
Oh, good.
And if you have to hold on to anything, it was just a small bag of coffee. So it worked out really well for us.
Oh, good.
And it gave us some flexibility with our finances too last year.
Wonderful. Appreciate that, and hopefully we can do it again. Mm-hmm. And anyone else out there?
Maybe a couple times.
Like yeah, good. Well, thank you. I'll turn it over here to Tiffany.
Yeah. So when we come back from the break, we're going to be hosting a pre-recorded interview with Beth Bennett. She is our Meeker High School cheer coach. And just a quick correction, when we interview her, Beth has been having such a good time in Meeker that she forgot she's been here for 4 years, and she said she had been here for 3. So when we come back, thanks everybody.
Thank you, and thanks Randy for coming in.
It's
Randy's going to have to leave
Yeah.
and go teach our kids.
Yeah, I'm going to go yell at kids.
Go yell at kids.
Yeah.
We appreciate you coming in, taking the time. Thanks again, Randy.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hello and welcome back to Cowboy Coffee with Coaches, where we will have Tiffany interview Meeker High School cheerleading coach Beth Bennett. Welcome, Beth.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Bobby. So Beth Bennett grew up in Virginia Beach. Well, actually, she traveled quite a bit because her father was in the Navy. And she has 3 kids. Eli, Charlie, and Heath. They vary from 5th grade down to 1st grade. And her husband, Waylon, and her moved here in 2016 with the kids. And Heath must have been a little tiny guy at that time when you moved
was
here.
2, yes.
Yeah. And so you guys moved here with his job and in 2016, like we already said, and now you are our Meeker High School cheer coach.
Yes. This is actually my 3rd year now coaching. The last 2 years, and Tina DiBenedetto and I were the coaches, and this year her work has taken her a little bit more, and so but she's still an assistant of mine.
Oh,
yes.
Nice. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your cheer background.
I honestly probably started cheering when I was in about 3rd grade, and cheered every place that we moved to, and then came high school. I cheered in my high school cheer, and then I switched over to competitive cheerleading, and we traveled nationwide for competitions.
That's fun.
So, yes.
Good. And glad the girls have you here.
Yes. Yes.
So let's go really quickly through the girls. Can you name who is on your squad this year? And well, actually, you know what? Maybe we should talk really quickly about how the seasons work, because we have 2 cheer seasons in Meeker. So the girls now necessarily won't be the exact same squad that you'll have in the winter season.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So we do have the 2 seasons. We have a fall season, which will start in August, goes through about December. And currently on my squad right now, I have senior Anna Goodwin, juniors Alexis and Tiana Linder, Gracie Blagg and Stacy Mack. Sophomores is Allison Cobalt, Haley Weston, Allie Sanders, and Sophie Cox. And my 3 new freshmen are Ella Dunn, Alyssa Nielsen, and Fia Johnson. But yes, like you said, come winter, we might lose some of them that choose to go play basketball. And I do have some volleyball girls that I know are hoping to join come our winter season, which will run December through March.
Nice. And what else does the squad do? Obviously, they don't get to travel with all the teams. Maybe they do. You guys travel for postseason games?
We are usually budgeted to travel 1 postseason game, if it works out for all of us to be able to go per sport.
Nice.
And then our big travel that we will do will be in December, where we will try and go to state. CHASA does hold a state spirit competition over in Denver at the beginning of December, and we did not get to go last year due to COVID, but the previous years we had gone, and it's super exciting. It's fun to do.
So at that competition, what do they do? Cheers and different routines, or what do they do?
So our squad would perform what's called in the sideline competition, where they have to do a set of cheers, a set of stunts, and the school fight song. It usually about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes is their most for each competition, but throughout the whole comp, they get to sit and watch all the different, from the dance teams to the pom teams, just to get that super fun experience.
Right. And are there different, so there's like different groups, right? So and different levels depending on the size of the school and what they want to compete in?
Yes. Yep. And so I believe with us, unless they've changed anything, they compete in the 2A, 3A sideline cheer competition.
Okay. And is there a regional, or do you just apply and go to state?
There are regionals, but they're not actually required for the spirit competition. So anybody can go to the state without going to regionals.
Okay. And does the cheer squad, do you guys do any fundraisers?
We do. Actually, the girls are going to be getting ready to do the Little Caesars fundraiser. This year they usually participate in the fall festival, but since that was switched, we weren't prepared for the summer festival.
Oh yeah, it did. It got moved up a little bit to August 28th.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And of course, we have football and we have homecoming come up. We actually had this discussion last weekend, you and I. I'm like, no, our first game is homecoming, but it's not. We actually have another home game, Grand Valley.
Yes.
And then what will the girls be doing for homecoming?
So the girls for homecoming, they'll make all the banners and signs. They'll usually perform just more stunts during the quarters because of homecoming being so busy. The dance team, they usually try and do a performance before they do all the homecoming court. So they'll do stunts and any sort of performance in between quarters.
And are a lot of those girls the same girls, cheer and dance, or are they?
I believe right now I have 3 of them that are on the dance team.
The dance team
Yes.
and cheer team.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you, Beth. We really appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We are going to have Tiffany give us updates for this coming week's action.
Yep. Thanks, Bobby. There's a lot of traveling this week. Let's begin with softball. So first of all, they're playing a doubleheader in Gunnison on Friday. But if you haven't seen the softball team in a while, you get your chance Saturday at home. They're going to have their second chance at beating Eagle Valley, and I think that game is starting at 1 p.m. But I'm not, or 11 a.m. I'm sorry, but I'm not super positive on that. And the Gunnison one, I'm not. I think that's at 4, and that's a doubleheader. Friday, volleyball is traveling to Vale Christian, and then on Saturday, they're at home against Hayden. Those games begin at 11 a.m. And then for football, the team is traveling Friday for a game Saturday in Buena Vista. Coach Phelan really wanted me to emphasize that. Their original schedule said that the game was on Friday, but the game is on Saturday at 1 p.m. in Buena Vista. Buena Vista is 4-0. They've dominated their opponents, but they haven't played anybody ranked yet. So it should be a good game. Probably one, Lyman was obviously our very first challenge, but this will be a challenge for the team, so it should be good for them.
Good. We want to also mention that both the middle school, Barone Middle School, and the high school cross-country teams will be in Craig on Saturday. And also want to mention and wish good luck to the golf team who is at the state qualifying regional tournament, as we mentioned earlier, in Cortez. So good luck to those guys, and hopefully we get a qualifier or two out of that.
Yeah, that would be great.
Thank you so much for joining us for our 4th episode of Cowboy Coffee with Coaches. We hope you enjoy the podcast, and we will be back next week.
Yep.
Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.